That stage, I stopped the video and came back an hour later, and I looked at it. I was like, oh, I think she looked better just as a dancer or something, rather than like she's out to kill somebody. So I thought it was cooler this way. And you never know, she could use the hoops dangerously. I thought this way was more fun, and she's celebrating something. Also, I've got a pencil study I did of seeing a sergeant in real life, and I was looking at that to my right. I was like, oh, I should do something like that, which is I think the piece is called the Carmencia or something like that. I don't know the actual name, but I'm sure if you googled that name, it would probably come up because Google has all the. Did you mean this? And yeah, I did probably mean that if you bother looking for it. So I was thinking more of a dancer, big dress and really yes, flamboyant. Yeah, so I've made a new layer and I've put the layer under the lines, so I'm just blocking in the basic value. So, just thinking of the basic values of the skin and the dress and everything. Then I've made a new layer now and set that to multiply. It's still under the lines, but it's on top of the grey layer that I made before that. Just blocking in the shadows. You can you can get away with just doing a whole character in grayscale. It's definitely easier, and if you're just learning, if you're just starting out, definitely recommend you do a whole bunch of value studies or value sketches, and then go for color later on. You can study all, but um, yeah, don't go too hard on yourself. Just I guess, take baby steps. Crawl before you walk, sort of thing. Or crawl before you run. Yeah. So on top of the grey layer, I've made a color layer, just overlaying color. So color layer means it'll lay down the color and be affected by the value that's beneath it. And then I've made another color balance adjustment layer. So you can see just there the different layers. Color balance is really good. Just after you've done all that, you can add a bit of blue into the shadows and things. It'll just give it a tiny bit more variation. So now I've joined all the layers except for the line layer, and now I'm still under the line layer, just painting in a bit more color and shadows and stuff. Yeah, I mean the rendering stage, you can you can spend a week on it, or you can spend 5 minutes on it. Depends on the result you're going for. Since this is a sketch, I'm more worried about just the pose and the basic colors and everything. Not, I mean, I'm happy with it at this stage. I could call it done now, but it was just to demonstrate it to other people, or just see how I can take it a bit further. I've kept going with it. Also, I selected the line layer, and you may not really see what's happening now, but I'm actually coloring in the lines with a darker variation of the color that's next to it. So on the dress, I've painted over the black lines with a pretty dark red, and yeah, you can see it on the face there. It's got like a dark brown along the chin line. So now on top of the line layers, I've made a new layer and I'm painting over it all. I'm using the eyedropper a lot to blend the colors. If you're not aware of how you do that, it's a pretty essential thing in Photoshop for blending your colors. So because I've got the brush to opacity, when I paint a bit of the color onto another color, I'll color pick that in between color, or the in between tone, and I'll be able to get that halfway between. But I'm sure you guys probably know what I'm talking about, so I shouldn't need to explain it too much. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. I definitely should have picked up some reference. It's worth your while if you're really taking someone to finish, but this is really just a sketch for me. I would have looked at a reference for the gold and everything, because gold has a particular quality and contrast, and definitely for the face here I should have used reference, because I spent quite a bit of time on it and still not happy with it. Something as well, rather than use reference, is before you do your painting, this is a way you can learn a lot and kind of train your imagination. Is, let's say I'm doing this piece and I know there's going to be gold, leather, skin, hair and things like that. You can do studies of those things before you go into the painting, and then when you go into the painting you can do it from imagination after having committed that other stuff to memory. I'm really just making it up. Always checking back. I don't like to paint zoomed in too much, because so often you'll go in and paint zoomed in, and then when you zoom out it just looks completely wrong. You don't want to lose sight of the overall picture. You want to think of how it's going to look, when it's printed out, or just the overall read when you post the image somewhere, or you get a critique from somebody. It's rare that somebody will zoom into the face, and if it looks right zoomed out, it generally looks alright. But yeah, when you zoom in and out, things that are wrong with your piece tend to really jump out. Like I can see quite a few things with the face when it zooms out, just the way the form reads. But yeah, a lot of these problems can be avoided by using reference, because less guesswork that way. Just going through all the layers that I made. I noticed the face actually looked better before I painted it in. The sketch for the face looked good. So just erase it out and repaint it. Make it look a bit happier and less aggressive. Yeah, I noticed yeah, just above the lip that line was way too dark. It really jumped out. Yeah, that's it. That's the end of that painting. Um, Hope you learned something. I wasn't sure really what to comment on. Wasn't a whole lot to comment on. You can learn a lot just by watching it rather than me speaking about it. But you might see a process. You can take it further. You can just keep rendering and adding new colors and a background and everything. But um, I was pretty happy with it, I suppose. I was happy with it at just the line stage. So um, yeah, and I definitely learned something, and that's what it's about.